Hey friends, welcome to the Canyon Pathways podcast, where we invite you to live like a son and lead like a father. Canyon Pathways is a global community of men on the journey from the striving of servanthood to the freedom of sonship as we traverse the canyon that is midlife leadership. My name is Noel Boucher, and I'm the founder and part of the leadership team for this venture, and I'll be your guide throughout this podcast as we explore and discover what it means to live like a son so we can lead like a compassionate father. Welcome to this episode of the podcast. Glad to be with you as always and eager to jump into the discoveries we're going to make here. We got two types of episodes here at the CP Pod. The first one we call Field Note episode, where we sit with one of our Field Note essays, which looks at a word that embodies a concept that we think is central to this journey into sonship, into living like a son so we can lead like a father. And the second type of episode is a conversation episode where we sit with a Canyon Pathways brother from somewhere around the world, learn more about them, get their story, learn from their story, but also dig a little deeper into this word, into the field note, and get their wisdom on it and their insights. So this is a field note episode. We're going to sit with a field note here in a second. And on the heels of this episode, we're going to sit down with our friend JP Avekwa, who is going to not only, again, share the gems and the wisdom that he's attained over the years and what he's experienced in the Canyon Pathways community, but also sit a little bit more with this concept that we're going to look at today, which is progress, our field note on progress. You know, we all want progress. We want to sense movement forward, that we're going somewhere, that we're accomplishing something. At a minimum, that we're developing maybe or improving, growing, that we're making some kind of headway in our lives. But in midlife, many of us find ourselves in seasons where that's just not the case. It's just not the case. And that's not unfamiliar territory in this journey through midlife leadership. We've got three core scriptures here that we keep kind of coming back to in the CP community. And the first one is Psalm 23. And it fits here as we think about progress. The psalmist finds himself in a valley, in a canyon, a valley of the shadow of death, which is filled with threats, with vulnerabilities, and it doesn't seem to end. It's dark, it's foreboding as far as the eye can see. And many of us feel that in this stage, in midlife leadership. We feel the shadow of uncertainty, but its weight, its downward pull, is because we feel it might not end. We feel stuck, stagnant, not going anywhere, maybe in our relationships or in our marriage, perhaps professionally, financially, physically, spiritually. Maybe we feel trapped, not moving. We feel a lack of progress. Worse, we might not lack progress, but actually be experiencing the opposite of it. We might sense regress in our life right now, reversal, maybe loss, and the sorrow and grief that produces. But at least in that case, our inner experience matches up with what we would expect given external circumstances. In a reversal, we can retain some sense of hope, maybe of future progress after we right the ship, as it were. Perhaps most frustrating then, and indeed dangerous, is a third experience that's not uncommon. And that's when we can see progress in the areas around us, all these areas that we thought would bring us internal progress and satisfaction. Areas like career, possessions, accomplishments, even family. Maybe we're seeing forward momentum there, but they're not creating the satisfaction. There's progress in the external domains, but a deepening dissatisfaction, weariness, depletion, maybe even exhaustion inwardly. That can be the most dire crisis. So let's look at this. Let's look at this word progress. Let's look at the idea behind it. Let's see what we find here, what we discover. Let's jump into right now our field note on progress. We all want progress, but progress means getting nearer to the place you want to be. And if you've taken a wrong turn, then to go forward does not get you any nearer. C.S. Lewis. Some time ago, I was talking to a friend on the West Coast, a very sharp, talented leader I deeply respect. We were sharing how things are going, including the pressures of leadership, the ups and downs of marriage, the demands of parenting. Of late, the crush of deadlines, drop-offs, and other duties had been particularly heavy for him, and he finally exclaimed, exasperated, "It's like living in Groundhog Day. Every day is the same, and joy is just getting snuffed out." Many of us can relate. The daily grind, the ceaseless schedule, the relentless needs of others, all layered over the wounds of our own heart, can create the sense of being stuck in a time loop. The strain of sameness and the pain of purposelessness begin to emerge, and eventually, in despair, we're tempted to smash the alarm clock of doom. Like the psalmist, we feel that we're sinking in the mire, and we long for movement, to get unstuck and experience again the vitality of advancement. Enter progress. Deep down, we desire it. We yearn for activity, motion. We want a sense of improvement and optimization where we feel injured, inadequate, depleted, and disappointed. Perhaps more specifically, we want a harvest of outcomes from that improvement that will, we believe, satisfy our hitherto dissatisfaction with our circumstances. And progress does indeed represent movement. The English term is derived from the Latin pro, meaning forward, and gradus, a step. To experience progress, to progress from one place to another, is literally to step forward. Interestingly, though, we see from that understanding that progress may not involve improvement or betterment. It may just mean taking a step forward, to progress one step at a time. That can be an encouraging thought. We can experience progress independent of external results. The act of stepping, not the outcome of the step, becomes the focus. The journey, not the destination, as has been put in other contexts. This is borne out by the early usage of the term. Progress meant simply a course taken, whether good or bad. William Hogarth's 18th century painting series, A Rake's Progress, was not about a licentious man's improvement, but rather his journey deeper into debauchery. Much like Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress, refers not to the believer's growth and advancement, but to the course he had to walk. That understanding of the term begins to reveal the problem of progress. Is simply stepping forward enough? No, if the orientation is amiss. No, if the coordinates are awry. Stepping forward will simply move us further from the path, faster off the cliff, deeper into the cave. This can be true corporately as well as individually. When simply moving forward becomes more important than the direction of the forward movement, we can fall into the collective caves of factions and isms, where a once mission-focused tribe devolves into toxic tribalism. To quote the sagacity of Ferris Bueller, isms, in my opinion, are not good. A good point there, as isms tend to breed anti-isms, then anti-anti-isms, and round we go. But C.S. Lewis identified the way forward, as it were. Though we desire progress, experiencing it means admitting we're on the wrong road, doing an about turn and walking back to the right road, and in that case, the man who turns back soonest is the most progressive man. Which begs yet another question. To what are we turning back? A common about turn in midlife is to either the artifacts or unfulfilled ambitions of youth, a nostalgic attempt to recover the exhilaration of expectation inherent to the teens and 20s. But the sons of God are being called to turn back to Him. All the wrong roads we've walked, all the dead ends we've discovered and quicksands we've plumbed, a pathway has been prepared from each of them. A pathway back to a Father waiting to embrace us, to cover us with the accoutrements of royalty, love, joy, wisdom, peace, patience, strength, and above all, rest. This is the royal progress of the sons of God, the turning to the Son, together, no matter how beaten and bloodied we may be, carrying each other if necessary, and in that act, finding strength we did not know we had to give. That is the progress the world is longing for. Practice these things, be committed to them, so that your progress may be evident to all. 1 Timothy 4:15. Friends, hope you enjoyed that field note and are already taking away something specific. that resonated with you. Reflecting on it now, there are three takeaways that stand out for me. The first one is that midlife is a grind. This is one of the realities at the heart of the Canyon Pathways approach. Midlife leadership means responsibilities, vertically and horizontally, you might say. We're caring for aging parents, raising children, perhaps, new seasons and challenges in marriage for some of us, friends, colleagues, customers, clients, congregants. We're pouring out to, we're leading, guiding, influencing others, aiding them through the vicissitudes of the world around us. Requires all types and levels of energy that can easily leave us depleted. We are duty full, which leaves us feeling duty bound. The dude I was talking to that I referenced in the essay put it in a way many of us can relate to. It's like living in Groundhog Day, he said. Every day's the same, and the joy is getting snuffed out. We grow weary, and like Bill Murray in the film, we want to smash that alarm clock and maybe just go full Hulk mode, smash everything around it while we're at it. But we referenced the psalmist in the essay who said in Psalm 69, "The waters have come up to my neck." And I think we can relate to that in this season of life. I sink in deep mire. The flood sweeps over me. I'm weary with crying out. My throat's parched. My eyes grow dim with waiting for my God, says the psalmist. That's interesting right there. My eyes grow dim. Another way of saying that perhaps is I lack vision, in which case we sink and perish. And that's why our desire for progress, for feeling unstuck and moving forward internally and externally, which leads to the second takeaway, reflecting back on the field note as we looked at the word progress itself. And the learning is this: progress is about both motion and direction. It's about action and orientation. Yes, we have to take a step sometimes. We have to step out in faith without certainty. We have to move. But progress is not just the step, it's not just the motion. Progress, from pro gratis, pro forward, gratis a step, we can step in all kinds of different directions. Not all of them are forward. Our tendency at times might be to just do that, just to step, just to act, just to create some movement that eliminates the sense of inertia or entrapment or confusion that we're feeling. So we just take a step or string together a series of steps, maybe just to feel good, maybe to distract ourselves or to flee, to medicate, to numb, to try to figure it out and fix it solo, all by ourselves. We have to be stepping forward to experience progress. And as sons, that means in the pattern of the Son toward the Father. We need direction and motion. We need orientation and the action. We need to orient, sometimes reorient before the step, before the act. And, that's towards the Father, just as we see in the Son, who we are to look towards. We got quite a number of pilots in the CP community, and I've learned from them the OODA loop, OODA, for rapid decision making. Observe, orient, decide, and act. OODA. Observe, orient, decide, act. It's fun to say. It's even more fun to put into action. As persons, as leaders, we have to first observe. We have to be aware. Then we orient around that data, then decide and act. Then the step occurs after deciding which way is forward. And that leads right into the third takeaway, that to have this progress, to progress in this way, is that our orientation, the forward step in our case, is relationally determined. It's to the Father. As a son, my orientation is to a father. That's what makes you a son. The identity is rooted in the orientation to a relationship. You're not a son to a friend or to a boss or to a colleague or spouse or teammate. You are a son in relationship, in relation to a father. To live like a son and an heir of a present, protective father who provides now and an inheritance later. That's the progress. That's the forward step. that we're being invited into. It's how the younger son in Luke 15 got unstuck from the mire. He reoriented himself to his father, and then taking one step at a time, found his way back to him. Took him a while to fully live into it. He thought he only deserved an employment contract when he got back, but the father said, nope, a robe, a ring, sandals. That was all part of his healing. That was part of the progress, and he was a good father, so he knew he needed that. That's part of the progress. The older son hadn't taken that step forward yet. Literally, he's stuck in a way that we can relate to in midlife. He's out in the field. He's doing it on his own. He's meeting needs, yes, fulfilling responsibilities, meeting duties, accomplishing, but no joy, no gratitude, decreasing energy. And out of that, exhaustion, anger, and then just ends up leveling critique at everybody around him. He was taking steps every day, a lot of them, but they weren't forward. They weren't toward the Father and to the Father's table, not toward his inheritance. My son, everything I have is yours. He was just taking steps, and in that he fell into earning, and he fell into an orientation toward his performance. Some of us are there right now. We're stuck. But here's the amazing offer. Take one step forward. Progress just a bit into resting in the Father, receiving from him, not earning, not proving to him, receiving from him. And remember that you're a son, because the son is the first of many brothers who no longer calls us servants or employees, but calls us friends. He's got a place for us in the Father's house, all ready for us, so we can progress together into the inheritance that's waiting, one that's unearned, but also undefiled and unfading. That's living like a son. Friends, hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Make sure to join us next time. Next episode is going to be a conversation between Luke Smith from our team and Canyon Pathways brother JP Avekwa. His journey from West Africa to the States and back. They're going to look at this word progress again and weave it through JP's story. You don't want to miss that. So check out the next episode. Also, we got show notes here with links as well as a PDF with discussion questions if you'd like to use this episode for personal reflection or in small group meetings. Subscribe so you catch all the episodes as we continue to develop a language of sonship through the Canyon Pathways podcast. Thanks to the team at Maroon Harpoon for producing this episode and to our donors who make this venture possible. And as always, thank you for being a part of this Canyon Pathways community as we together live like sons and lead like fathers.